Hey guys, welcome back. This is Lucid. We are hopping back into another episode with Mictlan in our YouTuber Let's Play. It's turn 11, and this is my current turn. I haven't done turn 12 yet. I'm going to just go ahead and record this one, and then I will merge in turn 12 later. So, yeah, with that, let's get into it. There's a lot of diplomacy this turn, and we're going to talk about it. So a message from Pythium says, "Yes, Mictlan, it would appear that our lack of borders would make us natural allies. We've had a fair early game and trust that you and your nation are doing well as ever." A message from Man saying, "You mentioned to make common cause, and this interests us too. We await your formal proposal and trust that our more civilized demeanor shines as an example that you too can be fair and reasonable in your dealings with us. We are starting our westward expansion in the late winter, and to avoid undue conflict with you, inform you that we plan on moving across the frozen waters to Crithria Vineyards 2 months hence. As far as news of the land is concerned, our spies tell us that Midgard has claimed the throne land of Highwatch 24 this month. His prophet was close by, so he may claim it, but our Magister Council assumes that he will build fortifications there beforehand, Wardens of the South." A message from Ulm. "Greetings, we have two strong neighbors, perilously close to our capital, you and Pangaea, but Pangaea is large, and we determine them to be the greatest threat. Would you be prepared to join forces and move against Pangaea? Ulm." And we have a message from Satis. "As far as we can tell, Pangaea is using production and growth scales, but we are unsure of their blessed strategies. We are just now pushing into their land. Simply putting up pressure on their eastern border would be a great help. Once we take down Pangaea, you can be assured we will be there to assist in the taking down of Man next, whom our scouts inform us are attempting to create an alliance against you." And then a message from Utgard. "Hello, Viking Heloski to Bloodmen and Frogmen of Mictlan. Landmen of Avalon, pretty worried about yous. We Viking, we only worries to drink too much and sleeps through the battle the next day. We kinda busy with lizards to our east and noise-making ironmen to our south. So we hope some bloodmen will wait till later to fight with us." So that is the message from Midgard. And then two thrones get claimed, and this is actually pretty early to be claiming stuff. First year thrones mean you're usually pretty strong, or the thrones are pretty weak. Okay, another battle. We take... I'll just show this real quick. I'll kind of fast forward through it, but we take this, which is a little dicey because there's a fair amount of crossbow, and anytime there's archers, it can go badly for us. Try to get the volume down a little here for me. I end up editing it in post-production. But you can see our slaves took one of the crossbow volleys like a champ, which is kind of why they were there. We ended up adding them kind of last minute, if you recall from the last episode. And that might have saved us the life of a Jaguar Warrior or two. And that was our only battle. We then have an unexpected event where we get some water gems, which is very nice. And our first set of palisades complete. So, pretty good. I think this is pretty good timing to have a fort up by end of year 1 and then a few more on the way. It's kind of hard to get it going with Mictlan. Now, with most other nations, as I've probably mentioned, you will want to upgrade your palisades basically immediately. With Mictlan, however, you don't necessarily need to, because right off of the bat, you get 2 commander points. So you can see I can recruit one of these a turn, just like this. Whereas normally it would take 2 turns. So anyway, it took us a lot longer to build and it cost more money, but now we can do 2 per turn. And actually, in terms of total gold outlay, it is a bit cheaper than having to do a real fort. But of course, our wall integrity is crap, so we are easy to siege down. But we'll survive that. Yeah, so I think that's it. We've got a fort coming up here pretty damn soon. We will have a template. I decided not to build a lab, and the reason I did not build a lab is I want to go ahead and put a palisades down here, and I didn't have enough to do a lab and a palisades, and I figured, I can get some tribal kings and some other things in this fort the first couple turns, and still recruit Jaguar Warriors, which is kind of one of the reasons I'm rushing this out. and that'll be enough. We'll build a fort there. I mean, a temple there in a hot minute. But anyway, we'll do Jaguar Warriors, for the moment. And I think if I get this fort and this fort and this fort and this fort, if I get all of this forted up, I will probably have a fair amount of Jag production. Now, this was probably 80 or 90 recruitment points, and this is about the same, and this is about the same. What is the recruitment point bonus I get here? 75%? So I don't know, it was probably less? Huh. Anyway, I'm probably only going to be getting 4 to 5 Jaguar Warriors a turn, so we're not going to be using all of our holy points, which is a bit unfortunate. I think, you know, going back, if I could have not taken quite so bad a turmoil, that probably would be good. Either way, as we transition into the late mid-game, or into the mid-game, and I get a blood economy steaming along, the recruitment points aren't going to matter as much, because a lot of our sacred units are going to be coming through summons. But until then, you can see this isn't really actually super balanced. I think I went a little too hard into my Bless, where I'm kind of not able to get as many of my Bless troops out as I want. And even when we're in the mid-game and I'm relying a lot on blood economy, you know, I just took such a punishing set of scales. Yeah. So not sure about this particular build. Because, you know, if I could have had growth, especially in a longer game, I think this death I would not really want to take in a long game. Playing a Blood Nation with death is really, really tricky. So probably would do a less cancerous build in a longer game for sure. But this is pretty strong for this. The only real problem in this early rush is going this cancerous on your scales means I cannot max out Jaguar Warrior production, which is a big deal. But anyway, the point of this was talking about math, and we get about 4 to 5 Jaguars per turn from this. Next turn, we'll be getting another 4 up here, as it will be finished. And then the turn after, we'll be getting, or no, 2 turns after that, we'll be getting 4 to 5 per turn here. So that will be a grand total of like 12 to 13 or 14, probably. Which is a good amount. That's a lot of Jaguars. And then we'll be getting our Mictlan priests, which effectively are going to convert local population into Jaguars as well. I mean, into Ocelots. So, that is that. Down here, we are not building a fort, but we've got a little slave army, and this guy's capturing more slaves, and I had moved this guy in, and so he's going to patrol down this unrest. These guys are going to continue blood hunting. We got our first group of slaves, which actually is quite nice. I'm moving this preacher here, and he is going to hand off this, because I'm trying to figure out how do I get this Sanguine Dowsing Rod down to this group. Well, we're getting a scout here, and the scout is going to go do a blood slave pickup. So we're going to hand off the Sanguine Dowsing Rod to this scout, and then he is going to move down here and pick up blood slaves and then run them back. Yeah. Also, comically, right, if we go back to the messages, Man had said he's going to move across the river. Where's Man? He's going to move across the river and take 74. Well, I knew he was going to do that, and I knew he was planning on doing that in the winter. So I went and moved my guys in ahead of time. Now, he could have already done it, because this is late winter. This is the last turn he could have moved across. And if he'd moved across in the late winter, his guys would have been stuck here, too. So we are happy to basically take this from him. And there's a wind site in here at the start, which is awesome. I love when there are sites that don't need to be site searched. Wind is a bit tricky. Potentially I can empower one of my guys in air. And I don't think it will be helpful this game, because I would have to get up kind of high to basically do summon Storm Demon or Infernal Tempest. Where's the Storm Demon one? Okay, here we are. Yeah, that would be pretty tricky to do. I don't know how I'd do that. I'd have to basically have air too. And I don't have any air access that I can think of, unless the turkeys get it. No, they don't. Okay, so we have no air access. No air access as we thought. I'll show you this. We're preparing for this battle. I've got... So the thing is, we're fighting heavy cav, and this is a lot of heavy cav. This is probably the hardest, one of the hardest that the indie provinces will take. So I'm bringing over 20 sacreds. I've got these guys to attack, these guys to attack. These guys will get totally demolished. These guys probably will get mostly demolished. But that is their whole purpose, is to survive lance charges, or not survive, but to endure them. And yeah, and then we've got our prophet coming in, who's going to do divine blessing on all these guys. And we will almost definitely win, though it remains to be seen what kind of attrition we take, how much of our chaff we lose. The other thing, and I think I had sent a message to Man last turn telling him that don't worry about this slave army, we're not going to attack, they're just dealing with some unrest issues. I don't know if he trusts me, I'm imagining he may not, but we don't know. I've been pretty forthright with him and told him exactly what I'm going to do. So here we go. Let's go through diplomacy now. Let's talk with Man first, because I think this is kind of the most pressing. So I sent him a message saying, "Cautious men of Man, we see your troops are indeed ready to take 74 this turn, but Jaguars are quick. We hope you respect the accomplishments of our fierce warriors. While we would like to make common cause, upon further reflection from the more wise among us, the only neighbor that we share is Ulm, who I shall not wage war on given our common human blood. My other primary neighbors, the giants of Utgard and the centaurs of Pangaea, did not share a border with you, we don't believe." Which basically means we can't make common cause unless we attacked Ulm, and I'm not going to attack Ulm, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. We heard rumors that some amongst your nation conspire against us. Nevertheless, the current sentiment amongst our rulers in Mictlan is that the borders with Man are to be respected, and shared human lineage might bind us together as friends and allies in future wars. Our scouts show that you have much land in your west that needs to be conquered. We would like for you to feel comfortable expanding without unreasonable fear from attack from our border. Would you be interested in formalizing our current border with a non-aggression pact with a 2-turn notice before hostilities? Okay, so what am I doing in this? I'm telling Man that, okay, I had said let's make common cause, but then I've thought about it, and the only person we can attack is Ulm, and I don't want to attack Ulm. So basically, we can't attack somebody. Second, I've said that I know that you're trying to create a little alliance against us, but we're not going to hold that against you. And third, I say, let's make a non-aggression pact. And I think Man is probably worried about getting rushed from me, and that is kind of his thing. So I expect he will take it, and we'll see. I don't know if he will. He might not, but yeah, we'll see. Either way, it's very unlikely that he attacks into me. I haven't positioned any troops here in case he does. But I think it's very, very unlikely. The other thing is Man has all of this area over here he needs to go expand into, and this army actually can go do it. So this army can move over this way and up here, which is what I expect to do, not to cross the river and then get trapped up here. So next let's talk about Ulm, because I'm going to send a message to Ulm. And I say, I probably need around 4 turns. Okay, your plan to push back the horse people is a good one. I'll probably need around 4 turns to prepare an appropriate army for Pangaea. Then we shall be ready to attack. We would like to draw blood the same turn as you, so let's coordinate our attacks and confirm with each other before we swing our clubs. Our scouts tell us that Pangaea is mostly non-sacred units, which means Black Templar with a decent bless will probably do pretty well. He's also embroiled in a conflict with Cetis, so taking some land should be rather easy. Okay, so why would I attack Pangaea? Well, it appears they are another nation going scales. Ulm is going for a bless, which eliminates him from ever really being a bad threat against me, and I don't see a ton of wolves, we see a few. So okay, there's a few wolves. But I can deal with wolves, especially once I get mass protection up. I'm not really going to care about wolves very much. But, yeah, the knights I'm going to kind of massacre, and then Pangaea, if they win scales, is going to be tricky. It's not a great matchup for me, but if I have an ally, or really it's going to be 3v1, because Pangaea is already fighting Cetis, then we will be in a good spot. And I can back out of it. I've kind of put in my message to Ulm that let's confirm before we attack. And what that kind of means is I'm not totally sure on exactly the army I'm going to have or whether I'm going to be ready. So I am going to prepare to attack Pangaea, but I do not know if I'm going to pull the trigger, is kind of where we are. And that's my message to Ulm. But I like the idea of attacking him and pushing him back somewhat. I'm not really bent. I think this is his capital right here. I'm not really bent on destroying him, but taking a couple of his lands, especially if Ulm is attacking also, may be a good idea. Especially if he puts a fort up right here, you know, taking a free fort. I'm all about that. I will need to, there's a few things I'm going to need to do. Wait, I thought I was going to do that. Okay, maybe oh no. Okay, so I'm getting tribal kings in my capital. And part of the reason for this, no, maybe I should do it here instead. What am I doing? I kind of don't want to destroy my cap stuff. Can I get one more? It's probably okay. Maybe I get tribal kings here. I want to get okay, this might be okay. I need to get some more tribal kings because I need to get slaves to siege down this fort once it gets built. I'm not really interested in disrupting it. I would much rather have it as part of my own. And if I catch it in the Palisades stage, that might be the right place to catch it. So I'm gonna need tribal kings to get scouts to do that. I'm also gonna need tribal kings to make slaves to get my blood economy going to do the patrolling. So we're gonna need some more of those, and I do need fort turns to do it. I kind of would rather produce something more valuable here, but right now I'm trying to get infrastructure up, and then I'll probably pretty soon switch only to making good mages out of my capital, because they are going to be really important. In terms of research, which is also really important, we are nearing Blood 4. It's going to be about 3 turns, right around 3 turns to Blood 4. And then Blood 4 is, of course, going to give me Jaguar Fiends, which is kind of where I will be putting most all of my blood slaves for the good first bit of the game. This is my assassin, and does not require me to have death. I was kind of thinking maybe I should go down to Blood 5 just to get the Civatito, or however you say it. And I decided no, because A, I don't have Death Blood, which is a nice path to have, but I don't have it. And second, this is the assassin, and the assassin is really, really good. But anyway, I'm going to have to wait until I get to Blood 6, and I'm not going to go Blood 6, because this mass protection is going to have such a higher payoff for me. So anyway, that is what we're going to do. And this also opens up Ironbane, which is something that could be good against a lot of the people I'm fighting. I don't have Earth, but I could probably figure out a way to get it. Or I might. I'm not actually sure all the other things that are getting opened up here. Yeah, I don't have Death. Astral is not looking super useful. Battle Fortune would be nice, but I already have luck on my dudes. Yeah. Wave Warriors could be really good, actually. AoE 5, that might just be enough to be kind of impactful. So yeah, there's some stuff I can get. But the big thing is mass protection. Mass protection at Alt 7, especially with fire resistance built into my Bless, is going to be rather game-changing. So anyway, Blood 4 and 3 turns, and then we're going to head up this way. I think to get all the way up, to get to 4, I think it's going to take like another 7 or 8 turns, probably like 7 turns to get to 4 after this. So it'll be like a year. And basically this is going to be coming out, this is going to be coming out probably in like 2 years almost. Yeah, so it's going to be a while. It's going to be like way later into the game. But I got to start working on it. Since I have drain scales too, all of my researchers I'm also going to need to have... okay, they're moving up this way. I'm also going to need these Imp Familiars on all of them, which I haven't put up yet, but I'm going to need to. The problem with Imp Familiars with the coming of the horror apocalypse is that they will taint my dudes, and being tainted, I think, will make them more vulnerable once the Cataclysm starts. So anyway, the other thing is we're moving these guys out here. I had gotten a bunch of Eagle Warriors last turn. They're going to come up here, and then we're either going to site search or immediately attack this. I'm not sure which one. We're probably going to site search. I'd probably rather go ahead and get that out of the way. And then we'll come down and attack this. And I think that is it for the move. Oh, no, it's not it for the movement. We'll finish movement, and then I'm going to go through the last bit of diplomacy. So this guy and this guy are coming over here. Now, the Jaguar Tribe Slingers are not very good, but they do have ranged projectiles, which have an affinity to kind of hit your dudes in the head. And my guys don't have helmets, and they don't have great natural protection. So we would actually take a lot of attrition on these guys that I need to make it into the water. So I've done a few things to hopefully eliminate that. One is I've put them in a big batch with these guys, my militia. So hopefully that will diffuse some of the damage. I put them at the front and just told them to charge in. They're going to get Divine Blessing. And then they do have a fair amount of hit points. They can survive a couple slings. The other thing I'm doing, which I think is rather important, is I'm doing Summon Imps, and we're going to be casting quite a few of those. This guy's going to do it the first turn while Divine Blessing comes up. These are probably going to die immediately. But hopefully it will distract the fire so it doesn't go on top of my guys. And then we're going to have Summon Imps coming from this guy afterwards. The goal is we're probably going to use all of our Blood Slaves, which is fine. We just need to break through one province before we get into the water. So anyway, we're going to be doing that. Now we're going to finish up with diplomacy. So I had done my message. Oh, I sent another message to Ulm. So I sent a message to Ulm saying, hey, let's prepare to attack Pangaea. And then I sent another message saying, in the meantime, shall we formalize the alliance bound by blood in our common human lineage with a non-aggression pact? 3 turns warning before intentions to end this pact would be sufficient. So basically a NAP 3, a non-aggression pact 3. I think he will accept, but you never know. I sent a message to Pythium. Yes, the peoples of Mictlan prosper as ever, though the horrors come in but 2 years and we prepare. Who are your neighbors? Who are you considering for early wars? So maybe I can join up with Pythium against somebody. To Satis, I say, that's good news. I will start making plans at once to join you against the horse people of Pangaea. We expect to be able to attack in 4 to 6 turns. If Pangaea does not get wind of this, so don't tell Pangaea. One of the things you have to worry about when somebody's in a battle that maybe they don't want to be in, like this guy's fighting Pangaea but not loving it, is you have to worry about them threatening, and like say, hey, you need to end this fight with me because, you know, so-and-so is going to attack you. Yeah. So anyway, I'm basically saying don't tell Pangaea, or I might not attack. And then I say, have you attracted any other allies to your cause, or have any other enemies at your back? So I want to know if he's gotten anybody else to fight against Pangaea. And then I say, have you seen Pangaean's god? With only production and growth, they should either have an awake god or a bless. So they could have like a scales expander or something. I don't know. What next? To Midgard, I say, yes, we have heard from others. Okay, drinking Viking elves of Midgard. We have heard from others that man is rumbling mightily at sharing a border with us, though we have done him no wrong. Thank you for this information. We will keep troops on his border in case any adventurous army commanders decide to lead any raids. Are you at war with the lizards? Either way, we have no bone to pick with the elves, nor do we wish to stand between them and their mead. Shall we formalize our truce with the non-aggression pact with 2 turns of warning before fighting? So I'm trying to secure naps with my neighbors. And if you noticed, I didn't like lead with it. It wasn't the first thing I really said. So Man and I've been talking, Alm and I've been talking, and Alm kind of offered common cause. Man said he might be interested, and that's when I threw out the non-aggression pact. That leaves me basically fighting Pangaea, which is going to be the harder of the matchups, and then Utgard, which would be easy. I could actually theoretically just put an army on top of Utgard's cap. The reasons I don't want to do that is I want to focus instead on getting into the water, which will be pretty important. And the time when I would have done it is I would have been cranking out Jaguar Warriors now, and then I could have had a big Doom stack roll onto top of his capital. I don't want to do that. So anyway, such is life. I think that's it for this turn. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.